We have a new article coming out, a new column, a fighter's story. It's called The Path of the Pugilist. Please check it out on fightbananas.com. It's one of our upcoming amateurs around the Southeast. Name's Christopher Mixon. He's going to write about his journey in MMA. It's going to just from the beginning to wherever it takes him at. And, he's a very, very talented young man. And check it out, man. It's going to be a good little run.
Oh, for sure. Chris Mixon has all the tools in the shed. Like, he has everything. It's just building on what he already has. It's kind of getting his body right, getting his mind right. And just, to me, the nice, slow process of a future big-time UFC caliber championship contender fighter.
Absolutely.
It's like nothing to rush. Do things the right way. Fight everyone you can on the amateur level. You want to fight a crazy wrestler. You want to fight a crazy grappler. You want to face a power puncher. Do everything you can, and then just I think he's going to take off.
Our guy, Coach Pete, the Wizard. He put something out on Facebook today about coaches, and I thought it was extremely accurate. And me and him always discuss this. You don't coach a fighter the way that you want him to fight. You coach to his strengths, you help develop his weaknesses,
100.
and you let him be the artist he needs to be in this martial art. Boxing is a martial art, kickboxing, Muay Thai, jiu-jitsu, whatever it is. I'm not going to teach. Hey, there he is. Coach.
I'm walking into my house.
All right.
2 minutes. Give me 2 minutes.
Okay, bro.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, we'll get you 2 minutes. We'll get you right back on.
All right, I'll see you.
All right, brother.
All right. Billy Padden, everybody. He'll be back on in 2 minutes. So I was saying, we were discussing that. It's very important to coach fighters to their strengths, coach fighters, and help them develop to strengthen their weaknesses. You're not trying to change somebody. I'm not going to make you look like Anderson Silva when you're shaped like Chad Mendez. I mean, that makes no sense.
It's a great analogy, by the way. Just saying, so far, analogy of the night goes to the professor.
Wow. But I thought it was a great point, and I think that's a lot of things that are happening out there today that sometimes coaches want to mold you to what they want, and it's not molding you to you, who you need to be. Like, you need to let them develop themselves as an artist.
Yeah. And, if Chris Mixon, the writer on fightbananas.com with that brand new column, if he wants to become more of a kickboxer, boom, go kickbox more. If you want to become more of here comes Billy Padden, more of a submission expert.
Well, then we need to grapple more.
Yeah. So I agree 100%. We're going to add Billy Padden onto the show if Dave can push a button correctly.
You got big fingers.
Man, Billy Padden. Oh, we'll get him on here in a second.
There we go.
All right. There he is, everybody. Ladies and gentlemen, Billy Padden.
Hi, everybody.
Hey, Billy, man. How you doing, Coach?
I'm doing good, David. Can you hear me well?
Yeah, we hear you great.
Perfect.
We hear you really good. Nice shirt, by the way. American Top Team.
I had to fly my colors.
Yeah.
Absolutely. I guess we'll kind of start right into there. The gym is on fire, Billy. Dustin just won the strap. Amanda Nunes, the champ. We've been down there a couple times, and just all the talent in that room on a daily, weekly basis. It's pretty incredible. I just want you to talk about the gym and how it got to this level of just top notch.
I got to tell you, I was in there today, and I never seen anything like it. We have a coaches meeting every Thursday, and we're on the WhatsApp with the coaches, all the coaches of American Top Team, and the gym was so rocking today. We had Amanda Nunes had the cage. We got Moretta fighting John Jones, so he has the cage from 11 to 12. Amanda has it reserved from 12 to 1. Nina Sornoff has it from 1 to 2. So we have major fights coming up. Pedro Nunes is fighting for a chance. If he wins this fight, he'll be fighting for a title. So he's up there in the mention. Okay. Now we got Greg coming back. Okay. So now we're finding room. It's just it's incredible. The atmosphere is incredible. You walk in every day. There's a camera around. But we make it work. The coaches, they do their thing. They're quiet. They're humble. We just coach. We just coach these kids to the best of our ability, and it's hard work. but it's so rewarding because you got some of the best kids in the world there. And it's an incredible feeling, incredible experience to work there. And, I'm enjoying all of it.
That's awesome. I do have a question for you, Coach. How did you get hooked up with American Top Team? I don't know that story. I'd love to learn it. I know that we all know that you're one of the best boxing minds in MMA in the world, period, end. Just how did you get involved with American Top Team?
I came back to Florida. I worked for Don King. I worked for Don King in the boxing world from 2005 to 2012. And I had numerous world champs, and I've been in numerous Russia, Germany, all over the place. I was in the ring against two of the Klitschko brothers, against my guys were fighting them. I got like an incredible amount of experience. So I went up to Pennsylvania in 2011, and I worked with my daughter at a camp and a rehab up there. And then somebody made me an offer in 2015 to come back to Florida, and I took the job. It was working at a treatment center for first responders. I was an ex-probation parole officer in Philadelphia. And I met Chuck Eisen, who was another big-time coach, boxing coach, Coach Chuck. He has Mirsad Bektik. He had Colby Covington. He was a Top Team at the time. And he told these Top Team guys, you got to get this guy, Billy Padden, over here. You got to take a look at this guy. And that was January of 2015. So I went over, and Laborio was still there. Conan was there. They all looked at me, and the kids loved me. I started clicking with them, and I never thought I'd make the transition to MMA, but the kids were incredible. And it was an experience for me, too, because I'd be like, okay, that's it. They said, nah. That's 3 minutes, Coach. We're just warming up. And it's like, oh, I'm used to a 3-minute round. And these guys like, wow, 5 minutes, 5-minute round.
Whole past 5 minutes is a long time, Coach.
It's a long time.
It's a real long time.
It's a long time. And it was, so I went over there and I started gelling. And my first big time fighter was Nick Lentz, and I had Nick Lentz when he was ranked 4th or 6th in the world at featherweight 145. He went up for his first fight against Danny Garcia in December of 2015 in Orlando. Okay. And I improved his boxing game significantly. And he went on to become, really good. And then I developed some more UFC fighters, and my style is real Philadelphia. My thing is, from what I learned, you only have a limited window to punch in MMA because they're going to grab your neck. They're going to grab your leg. For instance, when Greg just fought, he fought Dmitry Salikov. He switched, okay? He switched from orthodox to southpaw.
Yeah.
And when an orthodox guy switches from orthodox to southpaw, that means he's going to shoot for his leg with his right hand.
Yes, sir.
That's the way a wrestler shoots. So he adjusted properly. Greg did exactly what I told him. He stayed outside the left foot. He threw a right hook that caught him on the button, and he decided to go back. He said, bunk this shit. I'm going back. I ain't taking this. I'm going back to orthodox. He went back to orthodox. When you raise your hands too high, we always throw the shovel punch. He hit him with the shovel punch, knocked him down, and boom. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And then he started pounding on him. So
Greg Hardy's good at the boom part.
It perfectly.
That's so funny. You said a couple things, and I had questions here, and two of them are just perfect transition to some of these questions. I'll do the first one. John was talking about boxing and boxing days to MMA days, and you were there when you said it. Don King, Mike Tyson, Holyfield, when boxing, Oscar De La Hoya, when there's nothing like a big boxing fight on a Saturday night. Would you have ever thought, when you saw MMA 10 years ago, 12 years ago, 15 years ago, that now MMA will kind of take over the Saturday night and the pay-per-view, and when Conor McGregor fights on a Saturday night, everyone in the world is watching. Like, you were there in that transition. How was that?
I compare it to soccer.
Okay.
It's that popular. It's that world. It's so popular worldwide. It's incredible. And no, to answer your question, I thought you guys were cheating. You don't kick. You're not allowed to kick in the fight. You guys can't kick. You can't do that shit in the fight. You guys were cheating. But
awesome.
no, I never in a million years thought that it would. But it blows my mind that there's a pay-per-view fight every week, and they're making millions, gazillions of dollars doing this.
You said it, gazillions.
Yes, I did. The game's evolving as well. The game keeps evolving. The game, that's changing. It used to be the best jiu-jitsu guy would come out and he would fight the best kickboxing guy. And whoever by attrition, whoever won, you know what I mean? Whoever won would grab. And if the jiu-jitsu guy got you down, he won. If the kickboxing guy kicked you in the face, he won. But now these guys their skills are so, they have every skill almost. You know what I mean? Everyone's improving. I've watched Ryan Bader improve so much in his striking since he first started. He's amazing now, the way he stays behind the shoulder.
Yeah, that left hook is looking pretty. That left hook is looking pretty. I'm liking it.
He's looking real good.
I'm liking it a lot.
Fights.
And you're right. He's staying behind it. Nice, long, linear. He's getting off that angle, foot on the outside. I'm loving it. He's doing a great job with that. You're right, Coach.
He really is. He really is.
One name we brought up 3, 4, 5 times, and we met him a couple months ago. Everyone that's met and talked to Greg Hardy for the last year and a half has had nothing but positive, great things to say about him. It's the people that don't know him that says, the offhandish things.
Of course.
What's something about Greg Hardy that, you're with him daily, hourly, weekly? What's something about Greg Hardy that the mass does not know about him?
He is so personable. He's so intelligent. He has a fight IQ. When he played football, he knew where every position, he played defensive tackle. He knew where the middle linebacker was supposed to be, what every coverage was supposed to be, where the cornerbacks were supposed to be, where the strong safety was supposed to line up. He has a brilliant mind for analyzing things and breaking things down. He is such a pleasure to work with. He improves every fight. We watch it. We break film down. I will watch, and by the way, Juan Adams has no chance whatsoever, by the way. Just saying.
You were going to ask that question soon. It was coming, Billy. It was coming.
I got that. Let's get right to that. He's got no fucking chance. Okay? We'll get to that real quick, but we broke that down. We already see. When I break a fighter down, I look at a fight, and I look for habits. Okay? Absolutely. Habits you can't.
Good. Yes. No, it didn't freeze. Did we freeze? Billy, if you can hear us, it froze for a second.
Can you hear me?
Yes, sir. We hear you good, buddy.
All right, good.
So when you look at a fighter and you break them down, you're looking at habits, which I'm so glad you said, because that's something that I think is so intrinsic and so perfect. So continue, sir, please.
When a habit can't be broken, a habit is something that they weren't taught as a fun in their fundamentals, and it's too late to teach them. They're so ingrained. Some of these bad habits are so ingrained. Now, a lot of these kids are such fantastic athletes that it doesn't matter. They get away with it. They can get away with it because they're fighting guys that know nothing about striking, or they're fighting just a wrestler, or they're fighting something. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So,
yeah.
And now the game's evolving. It's becoming incredible. Everyone's getting better at everything. And it's really exciting to be a part of this right now.
That's awesome. That's so true. I'm so glad that you said that. Bad habits, good habits. There's habits all the way around on either side of it. The good habits, you're glad for them that they have and they keep. But anything that, if you have a habit and it's not necessarily good, it can be timed. It can be read. You can do
100%.
something. You can do something to see that, bring it out. You can draw things out. There's things that's going to happen. I love your mind. I love it. I love talk. I love listening to you talk. That's awesome.
I got a good question for you. I was thinking this a couple days ago. I was at Fusion XL. It's a great gym in Orlando, Florida. Julian Williams is the coach. Alex Spartan Nicholson's out of there. Mike Perry's out of there. They have a lot of up-and-comer fighters that will be UFC fighters. And I was watching a practice. Some guys were having a great practice. Some guys were having a shitty practice. Have you ever been in a practice and you were the coach and you just went to the fighter, boxer, or MMA and say, nope, Jonathan, have a good night. We're ending it. You're shit tonight. You're only creating bad habits. Let's just take it another day.
Good question.
100%. I'm glad you brought that up, because in camp, okay, I acted as a strength and conditioning coach a lot for Don King, for a lot of world champions. And if we had a 7-week camp or an 8-week camp, if I didn't break your immune system and make you look like shit in 3 weeks, I wasn't doing my job. So when I broke your immune system and you got sick, they said, "Good job, Billy. You're breaking their balls, and you're working them hard. And some days when you go to the gym, you don't have it. You look bad. You got to go through that, and you got to persevere. Okay, and you got to learn from it. Okay, and you got to, when you get sick, you got to rest. You got to eat right, and you come back and you shed that skin, and you're like a new snake. Okay, now you're brand new. Okay." But if I don't break your immune system, okay, with my training, I don't feel I'm doing my job. So this is brutal. You shouldn't feel, "How you doing?" "I'm feeling great." Okay, something's wrong. Yeah. Okay, they suck. This is work. This is something that'll, if you do this for a hobby, you'll get killed. Okay, this is something that you have to live, and you have to strategically do this right. You have to allow 4 hours between training sessions in order for your body to adequately recover. Okay? You got to hydrate properly. You got to put the right amount of protein in you. You got to put the right amount of carbohydrates, which will transport the proteins. Okay? It can't be just protein. It can't be the Atkins diet in MMA. Okay? Yeah. It doesn't work.
You got to have good carbs in you.
That's real good for burning, for looking good on the scale and all that horse shit. Okay? But if you try that Atkins shit in MMA, you'll get killed, okay? Because if the carbohydrate doesn't transport the protein, you know what I mean? You got nothing to pull from, okay? So
great point. That's a great point.
It's a science, and we have one of the best guys in the world named Phil DeRue, who's one of our strength coaches at American Top Team and nutrition guys. And so our kids are educated. We had the world's best coaching staff, including some other boxing coaches. You got Dia Davis, you know what I mean? You got Mikey Rod. We got Gabriel Oliveira. So we got some great coaches there. You know what I mean?
That's
absolutely.
Awesome.
Absolutely. So now I have a question for you. You've seen boxing. You've seen a lot of it. You've seen even the boxing game evolve. There's a lot more footwork involved now. You got the Lomachenko angle cutting. You got, how Mayweather used his shoulder and developed that game. I guess do we still call it the Philly shell? Do we still call it the Philly shell?
Okay. 100%.
All right, good. I want to give credit where credit's due. So
thank you, buddy.
Absolutely. So the Philly shell, he's mastered that to an extent. A lot of different new ways of playing boxing, or not playing boxing, but for boxing. Now MMA is developing striking, and you see the hands getting more intrinsic. What is the one thing in striking in MMA that they lack from the boxing world? What is the one most important thing you think? And I think Dave is going to love this answer because I think I know where you're going to come with it. But what is the most important thing in boxing that you think they lack in MMA when it comes to striking with hands?
They're not leveraged properly. Okay, they're not behind. Okay, a lot of times, for instance, I talked to Pedro Nunes before we fought Cody Garbrandt, and we had a long discussion. And I said, "Pedro, please do me a favor. Okay, when you're in these exchanges, I want you to punch up, okay? And when you punch up, your shoulders protect your whole mandibular process. My whole cheek process is covered by my shoulders, okay? And what happens is my guys tell me, Coach, your shit works because when you're out there fighting, when I'm punching up, their punches are going right over their shoulders and hitting them. They're not hitting them on their chin. Your chin, when you get hit on your chin, it's nature's way of defending the body. You're going out, okay? And a lot of these MMA fighters are getting knocked out because they're not properly leveraged. They're throwing a kick, and not their fault. It's not their fault. The game is hard. This is one of the hardest games on the planet. So these guys are throwing a kick, for instance, and they land improperly, and their chin's up in the air, and they're exposed. And all of a sudden, the guy's in the right position where he's leveraged, and boom, he hits him in the chin. And what happens is the oxygen gets cut off from your brain, and you're unconscious. It's actually the safest thing that can happen to you physiologically because your brain doesn't swell. Okay? What happens when you get cumulative trauma is when your brain swells, is when it's like a rock'em sock'em robot fight. when you're exchanging blows and everyone's bleeding and their faces are swollen and they're landing shots and it's usually a close fight. That's when guys get hurt and have aneurysms and their brain swells. When you get knocked out quickly, it's the safest thing that can happen to you physiologically because the oxygen is cut off from your brain and it no longer swells. It's similar to what's called an induced coma. You know what I mean? Where they take the skull cap off to prevent the swelling. So because no more oxygen gets to it, so you go limp and unconscious. It happens quickly. Now, emotionally, it's harder to get over.
Sure.
Because you start doubting your skills and you're you know what I mean? Like, oh my God, I'm scrambled eggs. Every time I get hit, I'm going to go out now. You know, you start doubting yourself. But I look at the intestinal fortitude, some of these fighters. Dustin Poirier as an example. Okay. He got knocked out quickly by Michael Johnson, like within 20 seconds. He just got caught. He got caught at the wrong spot, but it happened quickly. He wasn't affected. He wasn't punch drunk from it. He got knocked out quick, and he came right back to the gym. He came right back to the gym 2 weeks. That kid has more courage. I never met a kid with more courage than Dustin Poirier. And he's one of the best living guys I ever met. He's a class act. It's an honor to have him at Top Team. You know what I mean? And a lot of guys too. Edson Barbosa just lost to Justin Gaethje. Okay, Edson's back in the gym, you know, rocking and rolling and ready to fight again. And he's gonna get up. You have to recover. You have to get back on the horse and use that intestinal fortitude to get back into this thing.
Absolutely. Love it. Love it.
100%. I had one question, and then we'll do something fun at the end. We'll do a 10 rapid question thing. It'll be fun. But one thing you mentioned that I kind of wanted to grab there was it's kind of a hot trend right now in combat sports. Bare knuckle fighting. You said something about when the guys are beat up and drunk. Like, remember a month ago, 6 weeks ago, that Artem fight versus, I think, Jason Knight.
Artem Lobov, Jason Knight fight. There was a 5-rounder for the bare knuckle.
Yeah, they were just busted up, beaten. Are you a fan of bare knuckle, or are you like, guys, we should...
I just commented on Susan Singary's link, and I told him I'm a fan because it's a combat sport. I believe it has to be policed properly. Okay, now back in the day with the John L. Sullivan days when it was bare knuckle fighting, okay, the reason they made gloves was not to protect us, okay? It was because guys kept breaking their hands.
It was to throw more punches, right?
Early.
It was to throw more punches.
Exactly. Yeah. So they were able to inflict more damage upon somebody.
Exactly. That's what I try to tell people.
Which is so inhumane if you look at it. But it was because guys kept breaking their hands, okay? So there's going to be a lot of hand breaks. There's going to be a lot of trauma. It better be policed. It's starting to be policed well, and where the referees are stepping in and stopping it, you know, as soon as they can, which is going to protect these kids. You know what I mean? But it's something I'm going to watch. You know what I mean? And I know a lot of the kids. I trained a lot of fighters that are now fighting in there, and I wish them luck. You know what I mean? It's very dangerous. You know what I mean? It's just a wrap. It's not a glove. Your hand's just wrapped.
It's your
so
wrist
there's going to be some damage.
Right? Is it your wrist and your thumb? I think they wrap. That's it.
They wrap your knuckles. They wrap below your knuckles.
Oh, okay.
They can go up there. They wrap your knuckles as well.
Okay. Now I have to ask this because I'll be there watching it and covering it for Fight Bananas, the bare knuckle one in Tampa. I don't know if you'll be able to make it over this. The Paulie Malignaggi Artem Lobov fight. I just, in my opinion, and the little bit that I know, I want to say that Paulie's really getting himself into a world that I don't think he really wants to be a part of. You know, he's used to boxing with gloves, and they're usually 8-ounce gloves or 10-ounce gloves, depending on the weight category they was fighting in. You know, all those years with that, I just don't know if he's ready to go in a war. He's made for war. Artem's made for war. It's going to be bare knuckle. You said a lot of hands break. If Paulie can't use his jab, which is his best weapon in boxing, if I remember watching him, he had an unbelievable jab. If that lands on the top of the skull of Artem's hard head and he snaps his hand, which it very well could, I just feel like that's the end of the fight, really, for him. You know what I mean? If he can't keep that distance and keep that, when you got a Russian hammer that just likes to get hit and throw bombs at you, I mean, you tell me what you think. That's what the ultimate question was.
It's Paulie Malignaggi is head and shoulders above Artem Lobov in boxing.
Absolutely.
Let's put it that way. But there's no question about it. He may end up like really schooling Artem Lobov because he's a world class boxer. In boxing, you don't have a chance at MMA guy.
Agreed.
First of all, a boxer doesn't have a chance at MMA either, and the reason is you stand too sideways. Okay, if I train a boxer, I'm training them sideways. You can't stand sideways, okay, because they'll break your leg or they'll shoot for your leg and you're done. Okay, so I have to open these guys up a little bit. So what happens is I open them up. I make their left foot come out a little bit wider, okay? And they got to open up their left hand can't be real high either because they got to protect for a takedown. So I lower their hand, okay? But I keep them in the Philly shell because it grounds your low kicks better and I can punch up. What happens, how we protect ourselves in the Philly shell is we punch up, okay? We let the shoulder protect the whole mandibular process, and when the blows come, it hits our shoulders, maybe the top of the head, which is not so detrimental. It's detrimental when it hits the mandibular process and the chin, okay?
I'm sorry to cut you off, Billy. Okay, I'm sorry to cut you off, brother. There's something in the way of your... There you go. We couldn't see your face, bro. There we go.
That was my big thumb. I'm sorry. But yeah, that's I have to change the game, and it's the same thing when Greg works with Dean Thomas, okay, and Dean is a master coach, one of the best on the planet, and I respect him so much. I learn so much from him, okay. But when I train him, I turn them around, and now let's box, okay. Now then we make it applicable. And then the game plan comes in. The game plan's formulating as we go along, okay? There's going to be certain punches that are from my arsenal that's going to work against Juan Adams. There's going to be certain punches that Greg throws from Dean's arsenal that's going to work for Juan Adams, okay? Because we're all looking at him. We're all scouting him, okay? And by the time we're done, I'll look at him 50 more times, and I'll look for 50 more habits, and I'll extort them. But the positioning is something else, because if I step the wrong way, I'm stepping into a takedown, okay? And the same thing for them. If they step in too close, they're in my left hook zone, okay? And you don't want to be in the Philly left hook zone.
No, you don't.
No, you don't.
You don't.
You'll never see it coming.
No, you don't. You'll never see it coming. That's right.
I love it. Billy, thank you so much for your time. We appreciate you very much. We've been talking for the last 6-8 months. We love everything you do. We appreciate you. Pete White is our guy. He thinks the world of you. Like I said, thank you very much. Like I said, we're going to end
Blaze first. Yeah.
We have 10 we got 10 questions. They're rapid fire. First thing that comes into your head. It's a way of people to get to know you a little bit better. You ready?
All right, let me say a disclaimer before this happens. I've been punched a lot. I've had a lot of fights. Okay. Now we're clear.
It's like on the cigarettes, you know. It's
okay, yes.
All right. Favorite movie?
Rocky 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, and 7.
Love it.
Dog or cat person?
Dog.
The last book you read?
Actually, it was Mike Tyson.
Good book.
The Mike Tyson book. Yeah.
Good book.
Favorite athlete that's not in combat sports?
Favorite athlete that's not in combat sports would be, right now, Bryce Harper.
Philly man.
13-year deal.
No, of course he is.
Vacation spot, tropical or cold weather?
Tropical.
First celebrity crush?
Farrah Fawcett.
Go. Okay.
That's old.
Okay.
Your favorite clothing brand?
Calvin Klein.
Couple more. Guilty pleasure song?
Yeah, I know. Really? Not my house.
A guilty pleasure song. I don't know. Guilty pleasure song.
Okay. Your go-to meal?
My what?
Go-to meal.
Irish stew.
Irish stew. I love that. Right. Last one. Your favorite dessert.
Strawberry shortcake.
Okay. And just for your all-time favorite fighter, any sport, any combat sport.
Sugar Ray Leonard.
I love it.
You can't go wrong with that answer.
Not at all.
Like,
not at all.
That's one of the best answers in the books right there.
Yes.
Right.
Billy, thank you.
You guys
so
are
much.
great.
Oh, thank you.
Appreciate you guys. Okay?
Have a great night. We'll see you soon.
Okay, I'll see you guys soon. Take care.
Have a good one.
Bye.
Wow, man. Wow. I love listening to that man talk. Billy Padden, thank you so much for coming on Fight Bananas podcast. It was amazing. Your wealth of knowledge is just it's a wonderful thing to listen to, and we're glad that you're in this game with us.
You know what I want Billy Padden to do for us is my kid's about to just finish kindergarten. He's going to go into first grade. When he has to read like those big books, like 3rd grade, 5th grade, 8th book, I want Billy Padden to be the voice who's reading my son the books.
He's a great voice.
Yeah, like I'm attracted. I'm like, I listen instantly. Like
James Earl Jones or a Morgan Freeman narrating
Yes.
your nature adventure on National Geographic.
100%.
Oh.
Like, I was going to say it halfway as good as you just did it, and you
if
did
Billy
it a lot
told
better.
me a story, narrated a story of the history of boxing, I wouldn't want to stop listening to it. It would be one of my favorite books on tape or whatever you ever want to call it, if that way, because I would love to listen.
That's awesome.
The history of boxing narrated by Billy Padden.
We can start gathering money for that, and we can start just
We're gonna start a
cashing checks.
a
GoFundMe.
or fundraiser one or whatever that is. Either way, guys, Billy Padden, please go out there and follow him. Check him out. Listen to just read about him, his knowledge, everything to do it. He's making young men, troubled men into great men. He's doing lots of great things with the youth out there in boxing at the American Top Team. He's creating champions on champions. He's doing wonderful things, and he's just a great guy. Everybody should go out and, like I said, check out Billy Padden, and we thank him again for coming on Fight Bananas with us.
Absolutely. John couldn't say it any better myself. Guys, YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and then the mother of all Fight Bananas, it's fightbananas.com. Check out the site as soon as you wake up. Like I wake up, I go to my Twitter. It's like my newspaper. For MMA fans, when you wake up, put it into your phone, fightbananas.com. Just refresh that son of a gun every single morning, and you'll get new content daily. You know what the best part is? It's free. Fightbananas.com. That's good. All right, guys. Appreciate it. Download and subscribe to the podcast. Tell a friend. Tell a neighbor. You just listened to Fight Bananas.